Right. One minute, let me open the notes. Okay. Right then. So let us get started with Azure Migrate. Okay. And before I get started get into this, we will quickly look into what we have discussed yesterday. Yesterday's discussion was quite smooth, right? So let me go into yesterday's notes. So if you basically look into this, so we have said that there is an organization called as A Square Zone, where there is an infrastructure engineer, right? And they have some infrastructure which runs in their office, and they want to migrate or move that to Azure cloud. So for that, they have two set of or two categories of people. One is John, who is an architect, and then we have Steve. Steve is basically a cloud engineer who can implement this solution. So now, what is that, or how this migration will be designed, and how this migration will be implemented? Okay, what will be our lab setup? What is that we will end up doing? Okay, and then we will try to basically understand this whole flow. So that is the today's agenda. So for that, I would like to introduce to you a service in Azure, which is called as Azure Migrate. Okay, so let me quickly remind the term service again. I'm quite sure most of you already know it. Okay, so generally there are terms, and for the people, I would always recommend you go to Cloud Essential classes if you have not gone through that. Okay, which will be shared to you by Satish. You can have a word with him. Right. So generally, when you look at any cloud, they offer you something, and you use them to create some of your organizational infrastructure. Whatever cloud is offering you is basically considered to be a service, and what you create using that service will be your resource. Will be your resource. So here Microsoft is offering something called as Azure Migrate. Okay, so here Azure Migrate provides a centralized hub to access and migrate to Azure. Okay, from on premises. This is the basic stuff. Okay, and what it can help you migrate. Okay, Azure Migrate can help in migrating the following entities. It can help you in migrating servers. It can help you in migrating databases. It can basically help you in migrating web applications. It can help you in migrating. This is a newly added area which they call as virtual desktops, any VDI platforms. Okay, and then data. So your company might have a lot of data which they are hosting. So Azure Migrate can help you in migrating all of them. Okay, so this is what Azure Migrate is all about. Okay, so Azure Migrate can help you in migrating this. But let me try to tell you, migration used didn't used to be the same when I think I would put it in this way. Couple of years ago. Couple of years ago, when we wanted to migrate servers to Azure, the approach was different. Later on, Microsoft has came up with this Azure Migrate, and they wanted to give one interface or one kind of a service for all the users so that they can migrate anything into Azure, right? So Microsoft is has a what do you call it has basically a collection of documents which they are especially for guiding into Azure, guiding into Azure. Okay, so we will not go into all topics of it, but okay, Azure Cloud Adoption Framework. Okay, so what is this? What is this whole stuff? Okay, so it is collection of documentations, implementation guidance, and best practices. Okay, that are from Microsoft to ensure customers adapt or customers accelerate or increase the speed of the cloud adoption journey. Sorry. So now here we have it speaks about too many things, not only server migration, it speaks about many things when it comes to cloud adoption framework. Now, if you remember, we have two characters. One is John, who was an architect. The other one was the oh, I forgot the name. Steve. Yeah, right. So Steve, who was an implementation engineer. So our implementation engineer might be necessary for him to understand and use this Azure Migrate, which is most of the cases, right? So, but we also need to understand Azure Cloud Adoption Framework. So throughout this few days, what I'll be doing is I'll be picking up some of the important activities for with related to migration and cloud adoption framework, and let us try to also learn John's journey into this migration. Okay, so how can John help different organizations into migrating their stuff into Azure? For that, he needs to be good at cloud adoption framework. Okay, right, good. So right, for designing migration. Okay. There is one more popular thing which is called as 6 hours of migration. So whenever you are migrating, there are 6 hours, okay, which you need to basically look into. Those 6 hours will help you in understanding what will be my basic migration strategy, right? For designing migration or migration strategies. Okay. But if I start speaking about it, it will be completely a theoretical discussion. So I'll try to hit a balance over here. Okay. So the first thing which basically we will do is we will try to have a practical approach. Okay. Rather than really a theoretical one. Okay. So we'll be doing this, right? So we have to understand this design aspect, and we also need to understand this Azure service, which helps us in migrating the stuff, which helps us in migrating the stuff. Am I clear so far? So whatever is highlighted here is for both John and Steve. This is something which John has to be very good at. John has to be very good at. Okay. Now, basically, let us look into Azure Migrate. Okay, let us try to understand what are the different things which you need to do with respect to Azure Migrate. Okay, so we will come to A Square Zone's case very soon. Okay, so the first thing which you need to understand over here is, okay, I'll start with basically the server stuff. Virtualization world and physical world. So physical servers, I'll try to speak about it anyway. Okay, but let us try to speak about virtualization platforms. So in virtualization platforms, okay, your companies might already be using virtualization platforms. So if it is virtual, what would it sound to migrate? What are the different things which we need to do to migrate on a high level overview, so that we can continue the discussion about this whole migration stuff, right? Okay, right. So now let us try to look into this virtualization word. So whenever I say virtualization, your company might be having, I have said that in your company there will be racks, and on that racks there will be physical servers and all of that stuff. Okay. So there are two popular okay. So I'll be just writing product lines. Okay. So one set of tools will be from VMware. So VMware ESXi and vSphere. Okay. Right. Okay. And they have I'm just writing the softwares which are basically used. Okay. VMware vCenter. This is all of these products are basically from the family of VMware. Okay. So so if you are using VMware, okay. So to quickly reiterate for the people who don't know VMware, okay. So generally what would happen is, okay, you will have one physical server. On that physical server, you will be installing some VMware software, that is ESXi generally, but it's okay. Now, once you have installed VMware ESXi, now on this physical machine, you can create multiple virtual machines. Okay. So this is physical server. Okay. And here, this could be your Windows machine. This could be your Linux. I'm writing it as Red Hat. This could be your Ubuntu machine, which is again Linux, but from a different flavor. So the whole point which I'm trying to tell is, you have one physical server, and on this one physical server, you are trying to create virtual servers. And understand one thing, in cloud, everything is virtual. So even Azure tries to do something like this. Okay. So whenever I speak of Azure, okay, so if I have to relate this with respect to Azure, Azure also will create virtual environments or virtual servers, and that virtual servers are something which you and me will be using. But Azure doesn't work in this way. Okay, so in this case, basically what happens? Physical server is owned by your company, so you own this. VMware license, you own it. Windows, you own it. This, you own it, and even Ubuntu for. So whenever you want to do maintenance, let it be at a physical level, VMware level, or Windows level, you are responsible. Okay. So that is basically what happens in VMware. What happens in VMware? Okay. Now your company might be using VMware. This is one way of looking at it. There is one more alternative. One more alternative, and this alternative is from Microsoft. Is from Microsoft, right? So that is Hyper-V. Okay. So Hyper-V is also a virtualization tool. So your company might be using Hyper-V. Okay. So this is from, okay, this is from Microsoft. So we have to deal with these two kind of virtualization softwares. So whether your company is using, okay, what are the possible virtualizations? VMware or Microsoft Hyper-V, then we would be able to do that. We also have, okay, when it comes to the migrations, we can also speak about physical migrations. But when it comes to virtualization, that to server virtualization, Microsoft Azure Migrate supports migration from two environments. What is VMware? The other one is Microsoft Hyper-V. So, for example, if you say that I am not doing this, we do something else, then the solution might not be this. We have to look out for the other solutions, right? So now Azure Migrate. Okay, let's look at Azure Migrate virtualization or virtual servers migration. Okay, or server migration. Okay, Azure Migrate helps in migrating. Okay, servers. Okay, from popular virtualization products. The first product which they will be basically doing is VMware. The second one is Hyper-V. So whenever you are trying to tell that I'll be migrating, you will not be migrating this part. Okay. So whatever is in red is not something which will be migrating. Okay. What you are interested in is you are interested in the virtual machines which you have created on the VMware. So whenever I say Azure migrate, you will be migrating these VMs to Azure. So on the Azure also you will have the Windows VM, Linux VM, and Red Hat VM as a result of this migration. So once this migration is completed, so if you consider the one on the blue over here, so this is something which it might look like. Okay, so that is exactly what I am trying to write now. VMs on the above mentioned virtualization platforms will be migrated to Azure. Now you might ask me, so right, this is all looking good, but what happens? What are the different things? What are the different ways of basically doing it, right? So Azure tries to give you very simple ways of migrating, right? So let us try to understand that, then I'll answer your questions. All right. So basic steps, okay, basic steps which are used in server migration, okay, right? There are two simple steps. one first step is assessment. Okay, and the second step is migration. Okay, so you will assess. So, and whenever you do an assessment, you will get some report or a result as part of that assessment, which will basically try to tell you whether this migration will be okay to do, not okay to do, or whatever are the kind of problems which you might end up facing. That is an assessment which you should try to give. And then the migration is the actual migration where you are trying to basically move the servers from your organization to the other space. When I say move, as I said, we are not moving anything physical. Okay, so your physical server is still in your organization. We are moving the virtual platforms outside of this. So that is something which you can basically do. And to do this, what Azure gives you is, okay, to perform this migration, okay, right? So there are two things which you need to understand. Okay, Azure, okay, performs migration natively. Natively means using their own tools or using ISV. ISV is independent service vendor. For this, you can call it as third party. Third party. Okay, so third party integrations are also supported. Okay, so whenever you are basically looking into Azure Migrate, you can do the Azure Migrate using Azure itself, completely Azure. Okay, right? So let us basically look into some of the third parties. Okay, so ISVs supported by Azure. Okay, the first one, there is something called as Carbonite, and using this you can migrate servers. There is something called as CloudMIS. Okay, using this you can assess servers. Okay, there are many third parties. I'm not going to write all of them, but let me try to write something which is basically different. Okay, so they have something called as Lakeside, and Lakeside can basically use to assess VDI infrastructure. When I say VDI, this is your Citrix or whatever it is, right? So they have okay, Unify Cloud, okay, which is used to assess servers and devices. Okay, so Microsoft also used to have one of the tool called as Mover. Okay, so I'm just writing this Mover. Okay, now this is acquired by Microsoft. Okay, and then you don't see this product as part of the third party integrations anymore. This is basically what it can be. So now when you are doing the migration, you have a chance of using Microsoft's tools. Okay, so when performing migrations, okay, we can use Azure tools or third parties, but third parties are also are called as ISVs, independent service vendors. Independent service vendors. So basically look into this. And one caution which I want to speak about Azure Migrate is Azure Migrate is consistently under development activity. They add lot of inbuilt support to migrations. So the UI which you are using in the class right now, okay, might not be exactly the same after when you try to do the migration after 1 year. So during this whole discussion, what we will try to do is I will try to share you the links which can help you in migrating. Tomorrow what would happen is those links will be updated, and you might have a better way of basically doing this activity, right? Okay, now let me look into the question, right? Some questions, and I'll try to answer that. Okay, right. So, are you covering cloud era migration? The answer to this is no, Pratap. We will be doing Azure's native migration because I don't want to pay for any third parties. We will not be covering cloud era migration, right? Okay. Why do we need to migrate server? Migrating applications and databases should be fine, right? Yeah. So what will you do if your application is very old and it might not run? How do you basically, let us assume, let me speak about application migration itself. Let us assume that I have a Windows server, and on that Windows server, some application of mine is running. So how do I migrate that? I have to take operating system, right? Okay. Until unless your application is very much new world, you have written a Docker container and all of that stuff, moving applications is not simple. Okay, so that's the reason why we need to also learn how to do migration. Server migrations is most widely used, Hari, when compared to your application migration, also database migration. Okay, so if you have a DBA, you really don't need to migrate the data, because you can set up the new server where you are going to as a replicated server, and you can get it done. Okay, right. What is the difference between ESXi and vCenter and VMware? So, Mani Reddy, I'll try to put it in this way. Okay. So, ESXi is just software on physical server which allows you to create virtual machines. Okay. And then vSphere and vCenter are basically the softwares which help you to manage the virtual machines. Manage the virtual machines. So, physical server to virtual machine creation, that is done by ESXi, and the vCenter which you are trying to speak about are basically the the software which is used to manage, right, the virtual machines. Okay, and VMware is basically the company's name. If I have terabytes of data which I need to migrate in AWS, is there anything like Snow Mobile? Yes, sir, we have, right? So Ganesh, we have something like Snow Mobile, right? So, and by the way, if you want to know the name of it, that is called as Azure Data Box. Azure Data Box, right? Fine. Okay. So am I clear so far? So when I'm performing the migration, I can basically use Azure's tools, or I can basically uh, do the um, what do you call third party integrations, right? So there is one more question which says that does Azure supports Nutanix or AHV's migration? Hari, we will be looking into that, because if you look into this, I have mentioned an area which is called as what do you call the VDI migration. Okay. So when we speak about that VDI migration, we'll look into what are the different VDIs that are basically supported. Okay. Yes. Okay. Fine. So uh, there's one question more. Yeah, I think that's it. So, right, sir. So, fine then. So, when I basically look into Azure Migrate, we need to know what will be our lab setup, right? What will be our lab setup? How am I going to do the migration? What are the different things which I basically need to look into when I do this migration and all of that stuff. Let me try to speak about that. Okay, right. So I'll be discussing the plan, okay, and once you understand this stuff, okay, today whatever I'm trying to speak is very much important because this will help you out. This will help you out in not getting confused with what we are trying to do. Okay, so let me go back to the yesterday's same image in this classroom. This one. Okay, so now if you look into this image, we have on-premise solutions, and on-premise we have some servers. We have some servers. Okay, now I would encourage all of you to have a look at this image for a couple of minutes. For a couple of minutes, I'll not speak anything, just have a look at this image. Right. So I'm quite sure you have looked at this. Okay. So now our first assumption. Okay. So what we will be trying to basically look at is, okay, I'll try to take that same image. Okay. So all of these are VMs. All of these are virtual machines. And these virtual machines are basically running on a virtualization platform which is Microsoft Hyper-V. So where is your company's all the servers which you want to migrate running on Microsoft Hyper-V? Okay. So the first migration which we are going to try is, okay, so lab environment for server migration. Okay. So the first one which we are going to speak is Hyper-V to Azure migration. And remember, all of us will be doing this in the classroom. Okay. So this migration will be done by each and every one of us. Yeah, because it can be simulated. It can be simulated. Okay. So let me try to preserve this. Okay. So in this Microsoft Hyper-V, and on top of Microsoft Hyper-V, you have all of this. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. So in this scenario, our assumption is A square zone is running applications or virtual machines on Hyper-V, on Hyper-V. So that is basic assumption of ours. So what we will try to do is migration 4.png, right? Okay, right. So we do this kind of basical migration. Now, in reality, what is that your organization will have? Your organization will have a physical server, okay, on which Hyper-V will be running, and on that physical server, he will try to create virtual machines. But do we have physical server with you? Do you guys have physical servers with you? Yeah. So majority of the people don't have physical servers, and even if some of you have, you might be using it for different purposes. So what we would do is, even though this is on premise to the Azure kind of migration, what we will do is, okay, we will be doing in the classroom, we will be doing simulated migration or migration simulated on-premise setup. So our on-premise setup will be simulated. Okay, I'm quite sure we know what a simulation is. Okay, so which will not be physical, but which will mostly look like physical. Mostly look like physical. So now simulated setup. Simulated setup. What we would do is we will be creating Hyper-V server on the cloud itself. Okay, and our assumption will be this server is on premise. Okay, so what is that our migration will look like now? Okay, let me draw a new image. So we will take a server, and obviously on this server, right, on this server I'll be having where is that? Yes, Microsoft Hyper-V enabled. Microsoft Hyper-V enabled, sorry, okay, Windows server. Okay, let us take 2016. Okay, so we will try to do this. We will try to take Microsoft Hyper-V enabled Windows Server 2016, and this 2016 server, okay, is actually physical in your office. Is actually physical in your office, but in our case, it will not be physical. This will be on the cloud, and on this, I'll be creating, okay, virtual machines. So let me take VMs, virtual machine logo. Okay, okay, all right. This is okay. On this, I'll be creating virtual machines. So I'll be creating this virtual machines. Then I'll use Azure migrate. Okay. I'll use Azure migrate basically to have the setup. Okay. On. Sorry, man. I'll have this setup on Azure, and on the Azure, what I would try to create is I will try to create virtual machines. So this is Azure virtual machine. Or to be very specific, this is our Azure virtual machines logo. Okay. So we have 3 virtual machines. So I'll be creating. Okay. So these are the 3 virtual machines which you have. I'll use Azure migrate, and using Azure migrate, I'll basically try to do that. And while doing that, I'll be doing 2 steps. The first step is assessment, and the second step is migration. Assessment and discovery to be very specific, but that's okay. So am I clear on this? But the only catch over here is this Microsoft Hyper-V server can be physical ideally. But since we don't have physical servers, we'll be creating this Hyper-V Windows server on the cloud, on the Azure cloud itself. Okay, right? So are we clear with this? If you have any doubts about this, you can ask me right now. Any doubts, or is it completely confusing? Do you want me to speak about it again? Okay. So I'm just trying to compare this with this. Okay. In reality, you will have on-premise, and in on-premise you will have lot of servers, right? There might be physical and non-physical. You might be creating virtual machines. Now we want to do the migration in our accounts. So for that, what we are basically doing is we are trying to create one Windows server. Okay. This Windows server will be on Azure itself. Okay. With Microsoft Hyper-V enabled, and we'll create 3 virtual machines, 1 or 2 virtual machines. Okay. Whatever that we can basically do, and then we will basically use Azure migrate service to do the migration, to perform the migration, Is this clear, or do we have any doubts? Okay. Okay. If we migrate, will everything in server also migrate, like user credentials, disk space, and money? Actually, we are not migrating this part. If you basically look into my image, I am not concerned about what is present on the server. Okay. So this is not my area of concern. So if you look into this, I am not interested in migrating anything from here, but I am interested in migrating what is in the virtual machines. Okay. So are we consider Hyper-V as physical? We are considering Hyper-V as on-premise Hyper-V server. Bhuvnesh, the answer to your question is we are considering this Hyper-V server as the Hyper-V in your office. Yeah. So are we all clear with this assumption? So we will be creating one Hyper-V server on Azure, but please don't consider this to be Azure to Azure migration, because we don't have a physical server setup. I am doing this. And one more reason why I do this is, if you basically clearly look at the steps of this migration from Hyper-V to Azure, doing VMware to Azure, steps are almost the same. There, the only thing that changes is here we have taken the Microsoft Hyper-V, but there we need VMware, right? So first, let me preserve this. Okay. All right. Now this will be done in the classroom. This will be done in the classroom, right? This activity will be done in the classroom, and it is mutual activity. You also should be doing this. It is not only watching the stuff. Okay. So you and me will basically both do it. Okay. And now when it comes to VMware to Azure migration, there is one slight challenge over here. Okay. So when you want to do this kind of migration in VMware, okay. So, okay. When you want to do this in VMware, okay. So you need VMware ESXi to be installed. Okay. You need to have one vCenter server created in addition to the virtual machines which you have, and this requires you to have physical setup. Okay. So this is a physical setup. So now what I do is I have one laptop which is 8 core, okay, and 32 GB of RAM. Okay, and 32 GB of RAM. So what I do is I use that machine to basically show this migration. Okay. So if it is VMware, the migration will look something like this. Okay. Okay. In this, we will be using, okay. Okay, I'll be putting this. In this, I have a physical setup, a physical VMware setup. Okay. And I will be performing this migration in the classroom. For you, it will be difficult for you to have this kind of lab setup. But if you have a VMware with this kind of setup, you can do it along with me. But since it is difficult for everyone and we cannot create VMware instances on the cloud, this is the option which we have. Okay. So we are doing Hyper-V migration, but the Hyper-V migration which we do will help us in understanding VMware migration because the steps are not different. The only thing that is different is source environment. Source here it is VMware ESXi. In the earlier case, it was Microsoft Hyper-V. Okay. So these two things will help you in understanding the what you call understanding the whole migration aspects of virtual machine servers. Okay. So then once we finish this virtual machine servers, obviously we'll be looking into the database migration, and then we will discuss. So for example, VDI migrations will not be doing that. Okay. So basically we will try to look into the data migration also we can speak because we cannot do that because of the constraints which they have. Okay. So so server migration and DB migration, you and me will be doing it in the lab. Other migrations, when it comes to data migration, VDI migration and all of that stuff, we will discuss the steps. Okay. But the whole important thing is before you try to do all of these activities, okay, whenever we are setting up this Hyper-V VM, this might be an approach which will cost you approximately 200 rupees of bill. Okay. Please be prepared for that. 200 rupees of bill for doing this migration. You will get that. Okay. So if you don't want to spend that, there is no other way. We have to spend that. Okay. Right. So you will be getting a bill somewhere around 200 if you use it clearly, but at a max also, even if you do it 2 or 3 times, it will not be more than 500 bucks. Okay. So that is something which you might get. Okay. How much physical setup will cop a basic one with 60 GB RAM? I'm not sure, sir. I don't know the server's pricing. But I think you can look into Dell or HP websites for the accurate information. I might not have that. Okay. So no, it is not in the lab. Okay, that is something which I have on one of my laptops, which I'll be using. Even the license of that has expired, and I think I need to get renew it to the new one. Okay, I'll be showing that, but I'll not be able to share that in the class. I'll be showing that to you. We'll definitely show VMware migration. Okay, so this will be shown to you. Okay, right. Uh, yes, Manjunath, you're right. You're absolutely right. Okay. So we use Azure Migrate to move the databases to the managed instances. Right, guys? So I think, do we have the context now? So now, if we go back to the actual image, right? John should know about cloud adoption framework. He should know about 6 hours of migration. And Steve will be worrying about Azure Migrate a lot, because he has to know how to migrate a Microsoft Hyper-V to Azure. So what Steve will be doing is, Steve will first create an assessment report and share that assessment report with both John and Ram. Okay. So once these guys are okay with that, the costing and everything gets approved, then they will proceed with the migration, and we will continue this story. We'll continue this story. In organization, whether they will use VMware or Hyper-V migration, sir, I think there is no one answer to that. No one answer to that, Lokanathan, because your company, if it is using Hyper-V, they will use Hyper-V migration. If your company is using VMware, they'll be using VMware migration. Okay, there is also one more migration called as physical server to Azure migration. Okay, so it can be anything of them. So we are trying to learn all the possibilities. See, one thing which I want to get clarified is, because people are asking me these questions even in the offline, saying that in reality, what will we use? Okay, let me try to tell you one simple example. Okay, so we all know about Netflix, right? And we all know about Uber also. Do you agree with me? Yes? No? I'm not getting any response. That's the reason why I'm asking. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So Netflix also uses cloud. Yeah, it might not be using Azure, but I'm just trying to give you an example. Uber is also using a cloud. Okay. So whatever scenarios which Netflix will use, do you think will they be exactly useful by Uber also? Whatever architecture that Netflix is using, do you think that I can reuse that for Uber also? No, right? So the services which Netflix uses, or the way which Netflix uses, will differ from the way the services which Uber is using. Okay. So when we learn cloud, most of us will end up in service based organization. And when we work in services, we get different customers. And different customers will have different needs. Different customers will have different needs. Cloud is all about knowing as many options as you could, so because there is no one way for any service design, right? They are selling services, and they can be used in many ways. Okay, and that is what we are trying to accommodate. So for me, it is very simple. If I say that in reality, no one will use VMware migration, they will use Hyper-V migration only, and I try to tell about one scenario, but that will not help you guys, right? Because the thing is, depending on your customers, the services which you use might differ also, right? So we should be ready for any customer. That is what our intention of the classroom is. Yeah, right, sir? So can you please list our types of the migration in generic? We'll be doing that, Arvind. So if you remember, we have not fulfilled what John has to understand. John has to know about 6 R's of migration and cloud adoption framework. And when we speak about it, we will be getting into that. Okay, right. Okay, sir. Then, so I think that's what I had for the stuff for the class today. And tomorrow we'll be setting up a Hyper-V virtual machine. So I would recommend everyone in this class today have registered or have an Azure account before you come to the class tomorrow. And then, okay, so go to this, and if you have never created a virtual machine in Azure before, there is an Azure VM creation video. Please have a look at this. Okay, just have a look at this, and there is no need for you to create it also. Tomorrow, our class will start by creating a virtual machine, which is Windows Server with Hyper-V, and then we will be creating virtual machines. Okay, we'll be doing that aspect, and also we'll be discussing on cloud adoption framework and 6 R's of migration. 6 R's of migration, right? Thanks, sir. Thanks for your time. So that's what I had for the day, and we'll continue this discussion in our next class.